Hello. I am happy to see you. As you can see, I have settled in quite nicely. Yes, I have decorated my room as well as I can to my heart's content. On this side, we have the wonderful dried flowers my father gave me when I turned 16. And then we have my family's crest on the desk. And what do you mean it looks drab? Well, I cannot do anything about the walls. Not to mention, my walls back home look the same as these ones. So I am not sure what you're getting at. No. We are not going to be getting into any argument right now. A room is a room. Do you want me to go about painting it from floor to ceiling while singing a song? You know, I am starting to think that I should take back everything I said before we parted ways a couple weeks back. Of course I meant my words. I am the Princess of Celestia. I always mean what I say. Although I do suppose I will be the Queen of Shadowmere soon. Yes, I am excited. All the people here seem quite lovely. I have greeted a few, and they have welcomed me with warm arms. Ah, you wish to go back to what I said previously? I did indeed say, I love you. But that does not mean we can be together. We have already talked about this. No matter how much I may want that. What? You cannot go around calling the Prince of Shadowmere adult. Why? What if someone were to overhear and you get banished? Or worse, you get killed? They could hang you for saying such outlandish things. Then what am I going to do without my favorite knight? Do not feign surprise. You, along with many others, have been aware of this information for a long while. What? This is the first time you have heard me laugh in a while? That is nonsense. I have laughed while being here. Though, I do suppose you are right. While there is nothing wrong with this kingdom, it is not like home. Dare I even say I miss the stars and everything. It was much brighter there. The castle is all right. I must admit it is a little dreary for my taste. But what are you to do? I understand why they are called the Kingdom of Shadowmere. They kind of live in the shadows. It makes me remember this one story I read when I was a child. These two kingdoms that were at war. One was the Kingdom of Light, and one was the Kingdom of Darkness. I loved that story. Pardon? Oh, no, it was not a romance story. It was a story about finding peace together without having to rely on the two children to make amends. Instead, the younger generation, they were able to put aside their differences and they healed from the wounds their parents and ancestors had created. It would be nice if we did not have to worry about that. How much easier the world would be. But I do suppose that if the world was easier, then we would not be in this mess. You pay too much attention. If you have time to stare, then you have time to go practice your swordsmanship. Should I? I do believe I have time. I do not think I have sat in on one of your sparrings in some time. It would be an honor to accompany you. Have you met the future king? Right, that was a rather stupid question. Of course you have. You did show up after all. I did technically call, but I did also give you a choice, so if you end up hating this place, you cannot fully put it on me. You are the one who made the choice to follow. Yes, I will always greatly appreciate you coming when I call. Truly. He seems like a kind man. I think he wants to do what is best for his kingdom, but obviously, I cannot decide whether that is true to his thoughts or not. I am not him. Sometimes when I talk to him, though, I get a sense of loneliness, if you would call. No, this is not me self-diagnosing. I do not even think you can fully self-diagnose loneliness. You simply feel it, or you do not. But that is neither here nor there. Well, obviously, I think he wants what is best for his kingdom, or else he would not have entered into this marriage agreement. This pact was to prevent the warring kingdoms. Unfortunately to say, it is our fathers that have brought us into this. You know, I should not be talking about this, but sometimes when I talk to him, I get the sense that he might be in love with another. It is shocking, right? I cannot judge. There is someone who has caught my eye for quite some time. I do not know. I think they are very kind and talented. I also got to grow up with them since I was young, so they are a little bit weird. I jest. You know I do. But I too like to think if he was allowed to also follow his heart, then he should. Then again, I could be completely off basis and he could be in love with a parrot for all I know. Yes, a parrot. That is the only bird that came to my mind. I could have said crow, but crow did not come to my mind. That is why I said parrot. It is quite lively here. Much more energetic compared to that of the stuffy room. Is this where you spend most of your time when you are not with me? Oh, you go to the library lately. Are you trying to learn more about the politics of the kingdoms? Oh, are you really? No, there is nothing wrong with that. I did not expect you to be into politics. Well, if it is your goal to change the royal laws before I am to be married, I would suggest that you move faster. I think it is a kind sentiment, but I am not sure if it is something that can work out well. Ultimately, it is the kings that have the final say. Not to mention, you would have to become the royal advisor first. Perhaps you may call me selfish, but I do not want you to become a royal advisor. If you become the royal advisor to the king, then you can no longer be my knight. Then what am I to do? Oh, you would be my royal advisor and my knight. Okay, that is something I can consider when I become queen. I do recall watching you when I was younger. That was my favorite time. I did not have to worry about lessons or annoying teachers telling me to stand straighter. Ugh, you really should have been there for those lessons. They were so tedious. I hated every single one of them. All I wanted to do was run and play, but they always found me. I had a great hiding spot. A hiding spot behind the bookshelf was fantastic. Though you are right, once it is found out, it's not so much of a hiding spot anymore. But I still wish we could go back to those times. There was no care in the world. Well, there was, but nothing as pressing as getting married to a person that you are not in love with. I was not afraid to run down the corridors because I knew you were running alongside me. I wasn't afraid to climb trees because I knew you would always catch me if I fell. Do you remember that time we climbed the tree and I fell out of it? Oh, Father was so mad. He was so upset that I dare think I could climb a tree and remain uninjured. I remember my mother telling me he was upset because he wanted to keep me safe. But sometimes I look back at it and I think he was upset because I was not acting like a princess. What even does it mean to act like a princess? To conform to society and bend at the rules of men? That is what it feels like. I loved going outdoors with you, riding horses, petting the horses, finding different animals and bugs and flowers. Yeah, I quite liked that moment too. I believe my favorite one, till the end of time, will be the evening you came knocking on my door. A steady and sure knock, even though you knew it was late at night. It was oddly quiet but resounding. It went toot, or something of the sort. At least far too late for a knight to be fetching the princess for no reason. I cannot remember the reason you came. Perhaps I had gotten into a fight with my father, or maybe it was one of my tutors. It does not matter. But I do remember you telling me you had some place to take me, and I told you you were crazy for showing up in the middle of the night. I was in nothing but my nightgown, and I was sure that any other guard rounding the corner at that moment would have caught us. Oh, so that's how you got away with it. You switched with the evening guard. Now, surely that must have cost you a pretty penny. A promise to buy them any type of food that they want. Those night guards must be very devastated that you are no longer at the kingdom. You will have to make friends with the guards here. I am sure you will find ways to become friends with them. Despite it being so late at night, you did not seem to care. You just told me to get dressed. I must not have had my head screwed on straight, because I followed you. I was worried we would get caught, but you took my hand, and you took me through the corridors, whispering to stay quiet when it was you who was nearly bumping into everything. Do not lie. You nearly bumped into one of my father's portraits. If that portrait had come crashing down, it would have woken the whole kingdom. I know, I am aware. It was dark indeed. Yes, you are right. I was cursing you the whole time we walked through the fields that night, worried bugs would eat me alive. However, it was worth it. The lake with the fireflies surrounding it, it felt like a magical place. Something I could only read in fairy tales. Out there, it felt as if all the problems drifted away. I was not a princess and you were not my knight. We were simply two people underneath the stars, talking about our hopes and our dreams. What I would not give to go back to that moment. If I had been more aware of what could happen, I would have run away with you then and there. I know. I am aware it is useless to admit all of this now. Not when I am I should be able to say it. I have said it many times before, but if I am to be honest, each time I admit it, it brings a pain to my heart. I do not want to get married to someone I do not love. My dear knight, we have talked about this. I would love nothing more than to run away with you. I believe you know this, but we have takeaway duty then. If we were to truly leave this kingdom, if we were to truly leave, no looking back, then would you be able to live with yourself, knowing the two kingdoms went to war? The people of Celestia would have to suffer because of us? That is what I thought. At the end of the day, neither one of us can put aside our titles. I know. You are not selfish enough to reach out and take what you want, and I am not selfish enough to listen to my own heart. I cannot think about my people suffering. I cannot think about the mothers and children that will become orphans and widows. I have the choice to stop this. And if I were to follow through with my heart, I would be doing both kingdoms a disservice, and I would be pitting them against one another. I cannot live with myself if I were to do that, and I know you cannot live with yourself either. I do not believe anyone in this world deserves to suffer. It does not matter if I suffer, as long as my people are happy. As long as you find happiness, I am fine. My dear knight, you are all the things I love most in this world. Please, no matter what happens, as time passes, do not ever forget that. This story, our story, it was not written for us in this lifetime. But as I have said, and I will tell you again, I will believe that our next lifetime and the lifetimes to come will be written solely for us. And we will have time to love each other and be with one another till death truly do us part. I love you. You want me to say it again? Out here, where people can hear us? I love you, my knight, and I will never stop loving you. No matter what universe, no matter what century or timeline we fall under, I will love you till the end of time. Now you must go spar. You have to be ready for the kingdom of Shadowmere. It is not enough for you to fully be aware of Kingdom of Celestria's trading. You need Kingdom of Shadowmere too, so you can be fully prepared. Go. Go now. Yes, I love you too. Now go.